Who are you? What are you? And why do you want to be? My name is Rayshawn Watkins of Rayshawn Watkins Entertainment. And this is Raise Your Thoughts. And I do this because I want to reach out to y'all. Who are you? Why do you want to be what you want to be? And who do you belong to? Think about that while we hit them with the intro.
Nights deep, darkness thick. Can you see this? The sun eats sky like sea. Miss, don't miss. See the world stay so pissed when you think.
Who are you? Whose are you? And what are you? And why are you trying to be? What or why are you trying to be? You got to ask both of those questions. And I'm going to break these down and answer to you why, so hopefully it makes sense to y'all. And y'all can think for yourselves. Because I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here to get y'all to think for yourselves. All right, let's go get it. Recognize who you are. And at the same token, whose you are. Let me break that down in two parts. The who and the whom. Because let me hit it to you like this. What you are is going to accumulate to why you do what you do. Right? Once you figure out your character, once you figure out what your dreams are, or what your plans are, or what you're doing now, or why you're doing now, then you're going to figure out who you are. And in reverse, once you figure out who you are, then you understand or have a better understanding of why you have been doing what you're doing. And the importance, and if you know why is important to me, go check out my last video. Or the second last video. You guys know which video I'm talking about. You've been paying attention, right? Right? Y'all been paying attention? All right, cool. But back to it. Who are you? You know? Once you figure that out, and I'm not going to break down and use super in-depth examples of how you understand the words who you are, because that's up to you to do. My job is not to come up in here and say you should do this and you should do that. And I'm not one of those red pill guys that say, hey, if you want to be hyper successful like me, you got to do this and do that. No, I'm not like that. I want to open up the door for you to ask yourself the question, because I can't live your life. You can. I can't open the doors to certain spirits. You can, and you do, right? If you believe in that stuff. If you don't believe in that stuff, okay. But whatever you believe in, whatever you follow, you got to figure out your own reasons why. I'm not going to tell you why or why not. I can tell you from my personal experience what I've gone through that made me who I am. But I want you to not use me an example of what I did, because what I did might not work for you. But if you can take the who, the what, the where, the why, and put it onto yourself and get yourself thinking about that, then you can better your life by doing that. So the first thing you need to do is figure out who you are. What type of person are you now? Not the person that you want to be. Okay? Because that's a separate thing. That's why I put 3 different groups. Who are you, and whom are you belonging to? What are you, and what and why do you want to become what you want to do? And then you can put that onto yourself and see why. But first you got to figure out the who. Yes, you know your name. Yes, you know your date of birth. Yes, you know your mother and your father. But who are you? Whom are you? Or whom do you belong to? Obviously, you're going to look at your birth certificate and you're going to be like, oh, my name is so-and-so. My last name is so-and-so. I'm connected to the so-and-so family and blah, blah, blah. Great. But go a little bit deeper than just blood and go into who are you and whose are you? From a spiritual aspect, from a mental aspect, from a physical aspect. because mental and spiritual goes into your emotional. That's why I didn't add that last one. Okay, if you think about it, you feel because you think, and the things that you think make you feel, and the things that you feel make you think and act, or think of acting in a certain way, I should say. Okay? And spirits, once they get into you, they make you think in a certain way. The best example I can give you is the movie Smile. In Smile, you know, seeing a person's trauma while that person is infected with that entity transfers over to whoever saw that life-ending trauma, and now their trauma they feed on, and it makes them see things. I like to call them psychological thrillers and possessions and stuff like that. But that's the point that I'm trying to make here. Okay, whose do you belong to? Who are you? Because if you can't answer who you are, you become someone else without you even knowing it. Because if you can't say this is not me or this is me right now, then anyone could try to bait you into thinking that, oh yeah, you would do this because this is you. They don't know who you are. They don't live your everyday life. You're not the reason they wake up at night. You're not the reason you do a lot of things that you do. Only you know that. So once you figure out who you are, and then figure out whose you are, and also it'll make you think about not just who you are, but who are the people that are surrounding you. Hence the saying, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. Take that even further and show me who you are and I'll show you who your friends are. Because someone who's lazy is not going to be around someone who is hyper motivated, right? Or someone that's hyper motivated and doing stuff all the time is not going to be someone who's a homebody, right? Unless it's just like one of those times where they just want to chill, you know? But someone who's actively trying to do things with their life, actively trying to go outside, actively trying to exercise, actively doing this, actively doing that, having active conversations that is going to like build on themselves and build the people around them. It's not going to stay around a closed mind person that all they want to do is lay around the house and watch TV and do absolutely nothing. They just want to laze around. Right? They're not going to be around that person. So show me who you're around and I will show you who you are. Right? Just like on the in the reverse, as the statement I originally told you was. Show me who you are with and I will show you who you are. So that goes on to the question, who are you? And whom do you belong to? Right? Not just bloodline, but spiritually, physically, your friend group, you know, the people you associate with, the things that you watch. Whom do you belong to? Okay, once you got those two things, then you can move on to what are you? Now, I'm not going to go into super deep into this one because everyone has their own thing. So I'm gonna allow you guys, I'm gonna just bring it up and have you guys look into it yourselves and try to and answer it for yourselves. Go and hit the comments and bring it up. What do you think the phrase what are you? Obviously we're all human beings, but what are you in? Are you a jock? Are you a artist? Are you a, and this goes back to the who. So I guess what are you and who are you could be put together. But I'm going to leave that to you. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm going to have you think about it and y'all hit me in the comments or hit me on my social medias and you let me know what y'all think about it. Okay? Which brings me to the last one. Why and who do you want to become? Tying it back to who you are now. Okay? Because there's some people, if they've been in a abusive home, they're either going to become abusive or they're going to try their hardest not to be the abusive, not to be a part of that abusive household that they came from. They're going to be the complete opposite, right? If they're alone all the time, they're a lot of the times, like me, I know for me personally, I'm not going to talk about y'all. I'll let y'all think about that. But for me personally, I was an only child and I hated being by myself. I had no siblings. My mom was always at work, but she always cared for me and gave me the time when she could. But all those other times, I used to love being around. I used to love going to school for that exact same reason. I liked being at school because I wanted to go and be around people. When I was not at school, I used to take my time to go to Square One just to people watch. As weird as that may sound looking back on it now, but I used to go out just to see if there was people that I would meet up, in my area. You know what I'm saying? Which got me into a lot of sports. That's how I got into the love of basketball. Because one time in middle school, after school, I had to walk home. And I would go and watch people play basketball. And there was a whole group of people. And one day they needed one extra person to play. I didn't know nothing about basketball, but I knew it would give me the opportunity to play. So I said, sure. Never played basketball before in my life, but I'm going to play with you guys. And they taught me and I learned, and now I love the game of basketball. But it's because I wanted to be surrounded by people. This is what I wanted to be. Then I wanted to do sports and do whatever I can to be around people because I loved being around people because I hated being by myself. Right? That's the what I wanted to be. I wanted to be surrounded by people. I wanted to be a people's person. That's the who I wanted to be. Because I knew what I was. You see how everything ties back to each other? So once you ask yourself the question, where do I want to be? What do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Then you're going to transition through the people you hang around with. The people that you talk to, the way that you talk, how you carry yourself. You go from sitting and slouching to sitting yourself up, and depending on where my camera is, I can't see because I'm rear facing camera instead of front facing camera. That's why the camera looks a little bit better until I get my new phone. But anyways, so I might get cut off. But yeah, you straighten up a little bit, your posture and everything, the way you talk, the way you walk, it's different, right? You seem like you have a little bit more pride in the way you carry yourself, the way you dress. It's all about thinking about, what do I want to be? What am I now? Is there anything I need to fix to become what I want to be? And I'm going to leave it at that because that's all 4 points. Or 3.5, I should say, because a lot of them just kind of come together. But those are the points I wanted to make. Come hit me in the comments. This is Rayshawn Watkins of Rayshawn Watkins Entertainment. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment below. Hit me on my social medias. Let's have a discussion. And let's keep our mind open and keep thinking and keep asking the who's, the what's, the where's, the why. Because ultimately, time keeps going. So the when is always a factor. Let's go get it. Peace.
This how I'm leaving the flesh. God by my side, so I ain't stressed. Christ in prayer, forgiveness. Why I'm leaving the flesh. This why I'm leaving the flesh.